As it stands right now, we have no information at all about anyone coming here at this particular point. Apparently that the suspect and/or suspects are not in custody at this time. The security element that we have here at this point, we are going to redeploy and we are going to send them back out in the field.
What do you mean by suspects? Was there another person coming in?
I'm using it very generically. I have no information at all about the case at this particular moment.
Last name is Simpson. First name spelling Oscar Romeo Echo November Tango Hotel Alpha Lima. Middle James. Male black, 6'2", 210 pounds, 46 years old. For station 18 per LAPD. Attempt to locate a 187 suspect. Left. Heard from southbound to 5 from El Toro at 16:46 hours. Special attention South County unit. Control 1.
Keep rolling.
Okay, you're looking at a live picture right now where we think OJ Simpson, very close up ahead of us there. That's Bob Tur up in Chopper 2. Bob, you believe that to be OJ Simpson down there below you? Bob Tur, can you hear me?
This is Bob Tur. We're over, coming up. Hang on a sec. We are following, okay, here we are, open the door. We have a vehicle that is now being pulled over. I've got too many radios. Okay, it's a white car.
Bob, they are stopping traffic up ahead apparently, so it is a major police action there.
This is Chop.
We're coming up on this live near the El Toro Y in South Orange County. We believe that this is the police tracking OJ Simpson's white Ford Bronco. There you see the police cars behind him. Bob, you've got audio. Go ahead.
We're over the 5 freeway, past the 55 freeway. OJ Simpson is believed to be in the white Bronco that you see in the center of your picture, followed by as many as 9 Orange County Sheriff's deputies. They have been in communication with him. He has been on a cellular phone. They've been able to track OJ Simpson on the cellular phone for the last hour. However, they just thought he was in a general vicinity near his wife's cemetery, his ex-wife's cemetery. They believed he was heading down there. They were able to narrow down the cell site to the general vicinity of the Orange County Y. Now they have picked up the white Bronco on the 5 freeway. The vehicle is driving about 20 or so miles an hour. The driver of the vehicle was on the cellular phone. We believe that the passenger is OJ Simpson. That's what we've heard on the Orange County frequencies. And right now we're up at about 1,000 feet. And they are attempting to pull the vehicle over. They've made contact via cellular phone, also on a public address system. Unfortunately, at this time, it does not appear as though the driver is slowing down or complying with the orders of the officers. However, the speeds now are about 30 miles an hour here in the Orange County area on the 5 freeway. There you can see 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 units now converged on this location. OJ Simpson is believed to be armed and dangerous. They have a helicopter
Bob Tur, can you hear us? Bob Tur, can you hear us?
Yes, go ahead.
Perhaps one of the reasons that they are not taking any more aggressive action and moving in on that car, we are told right now that OJ's sitting there in the passenger seat with a gun pointed at his own head.
Well, that's information that we are getting as well. He is suicidal. They believe he's suicidal and very dangerous. He does have believed to be a loaded weapon. 14 units of the Orange County Sheriff's Department and Highway Patrol following behind a good distance.
Anything that might stop that car up ahead?
No, from our vantage point, OJ Simpson and the driver of the vehicle are being allowed to drive down the 5 freeway. They have a rolling roadblock behind. In other words, no traffic is able to get past the police vehicles. However, there are no vehicles in front of him. However, there are a number of Highway Patrol units and sheriff's vehicles sitting on the side of the road, and that's a call to Code 100 and intercept. And what they're doing is they're making sure no other vehicles enter the freeway. And it's very much like when the president travels down a major thoroughfare like a freeway. They have this rolling roadblock where they stop vehicles from entering the freeway and also stop vehicles from passing the motorcade. So what we have here is a suicidal man, OJ Simpson, in the passenger seat with a gun to his head, and officers, at least now 20 units, following behind Mr. Simpson and the driver in this white Bronco. We understand that the California Highway Patrol has been in communication with him via cellular phone. Also, what led to the finding the location of Mr. Simpson was his use of the cellular phone. They were able to pinpoint his location by actually zeroing down on the cell site that was being used. It was determined that it was a cell site within a mile of his ex-wife, Nicole Simpson's location, the cemetery. There were 3 sheriff's vehicles there staking out the cemetery should he return to the cemetery. He did not. He was staying clear of the area. The vehicle was then spotted by the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and it was followed down north on the 5 freeway past the 55. At first only 1 unit, and then within a matter of minutes over 20 units were brought to the scene and are now following Mr. Simpson. The speed of his vehicle is about 30 miles an hour. We believe we don't know who the driver is at this point. However, it's believed that Mr. Simpson is holding a gun to his own head, and officers are extremely worried. He is considered to be armed and dangerous, also suicidal, and they are keeping their distance. In fact, it appears as though really the game plan is really being conducted by Mr. Simpson at this point. He's in control of the situation while officers keep their distance, and also there's the concern of keeping other people out of harm's way. So we've seen that in the actions of officers clearing the freeway ahead of this motorcade. There are even officers on the overpasses standing by. Okay, how long?
That is a phenomenal shot you were looking at right there as Bob Turr gets Chopper 2 down very low. We're looking through there. Look through that back window, and perhaps you can catch a glimpse of O.J. Simpson sitting there.
Okay, what we're doing is we've asked the police department, they can't see through the windows, and we're allowed to shoot a picture through the windows to see if indeed he is back there with the gun. So they've asked us, they've let us come down here at tree level. Okay, now they've asked us to climb up.
Bob, what other aircraft is in the sky there? What kind of aircraft? Are there police helicopters around you?
Yes, there are police helicopters. That's who we've been communicating with. And they thought that would be a good idea to take a look and see if we can get a picture through the window. And it appears as though somebody is sitting in the back.
It does.
Traffic is able to get past the police vehicles. However, there are no vehicles in front of him. However, there are a number of Highway Patrol units and sheriff's vehicles sitting on the side of the road, and that's a call to Code 100 and intercept. And what they're doing is they're making sure no other vehicles enter the freeway. And it's very much like when the president travels down a major thoroughfare like a freeway. They have this rolling roadblock where they stop vehicles from entering the freeway and also stop vehicles from passing the motorcade. So what we have here is a suicidal man, O.J. Simpson, in the passenger seat with a gun to his head, and officers, at least now 20 units, following behind Mr. Simpson and the driver in this white Bronco. We understand that the California Highway Patrol has been in communication with him via cellular phone. Also, what led to the finding the location of Mr. Simpson was his use of the cellular phone. They were able to pinpoint his location by actually zeroing down on the cell site that was being used. It was determined that it was a cell site within a mile of his ex-wife, Nicole Simpson's location, the cemetery. There were 3 sheriff's vehicles there staking out the cemetery should he return to the cemetery. He did not. He was staying clear of the area. The vehicle was then spotted by the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and it was followed down north on the 5 freeway past the 55. At first only 1 unit, and then within a matter of minutes over 20 units were brought to the scene and are now following Mr. Simpson. The speed of his vehicle is about 30 miles an hour. We believe we don't know who the driver is at this point. However, it's believed that Mr. Simpson is holding a gun to his own head, and officers are extremely worried. He is considered to be armed and dangerous, also suicidal, and they are keeping their distance. In fact, it appears as though really the game plan is really being conducted by Mr. Simpson at this point. He's in control of the situation while officers keep their distance, and also there's the concern of keeping other people out of harm's way. So we've seen that in the actions of officers clearing the freeway ahead of this motorcade. There are even officers on the overpasses standing by. Okay, how low? And what altitude?
Bob Turr, for just a moment, we'll stay with your picture. Let's go back to Roger Harris, who is monitoring.
There it is with the emergency lights on, and you hear people shouting. You can see all the police cars behind.
And you have to wonder how much of this is OJ aware of, if in fact...
I think he's aware of a lot, since actually Jim Hill asked him to turn his... We'll show you as much as we can of the car.
Did you see him there? Did you see him in the car?
I did not. I saw a driver, but I did not see...
Joe Avalar, you were looking in person. Did you actually see him in that car?
No, I couldn't. All I could see was Al Cowling, and I couldn't see anybody else. Some of these people are saying that they saw...
This week and think, you know, this is a heartbreaking trip that we've all been on all week long, ever since we got the story. We have OJ's first wife, Marguerite, on the telephone right now. Marguerite, are you there?
Yes. I just wanted to say, OJ, we love you, please. Run, nigga, run!
Television set for us so we can hear you better.
Run!
Marguerite, you're urging OJ to run, to escape?
Go, OJ, don't, just keep going. Stand up for yours, just keep going.
Speeds now about 35 to 40 miles an hour.
Okay, we're going to, apparently, a bit of hysterics there. We are told that was Marguerite, OJ Simpson's first wife, urging him counter to what everybody else has been urging him. She's saying run. Everybody else is saying come back, OJ, face this thing head on. They've just passed Wilshire there on the 405 heading north, and we have been told that by the CHP, they think that he is headed for Brentwood. If he is headed for Brentwood, he is just a few minutes away now, no more than probably 5 minutes away. And in the event that O.J. Simpson is listening to KNX News Radio right now, Jim Hill, again, you have a very strong, poignant message for him.
Yes, I do. O.J., we've talked, I don't know if you've heard, we've talked to Vince Evans, we've talked to Gene Upshaw, Al, one of your good...
Right through heavy traffic, which is pulling aside and making way for them.
Right near the... Yes, I'm virtually certain that that's what that exit is. Nobody has confirmed that to us as yet. We're told that we're heading for Brentwood, but where in Brentwood? Would it be to his home? Would it be to Nicole Brown Simpson's home, his late former wife? Because earlier in the day, her father was there, received a telephone call from a man he thought to be O.J. Simpson, who said he was headed over there right then. up Bob Tur upstairs. Bob, there's movement down there on the ground?
Code 4, code 4.
Go ahead, Bob.
OJ is in custody. We understand OJ is in custody. They're calling a code 4. I'm trying to stay with me.
Okay, tell us what a code 4 is, Bob.
Code 4 means all clear, all safe.
All right, now
stand by.
We can't see anything right now because it's so dark here. But Bob Tur has just told us that OJ, if he's in custody, that means he's out of the car.
Bob, do you know whether he was talked out or whether he was physically taken out?
We understand he may have. Stand by.
Go ahead, take your time, Bob. I know you're gathering information as we're talking here.
Got out of the vehicle with 2 picture frames in his hand. I believe he left the gun behind and was immediately taken into custody. That's the information we're getting. Code 4 is a police term for all clear.
2 picture frames in his hand. Apparently there were pictures in them. Were they pictures of his children, or just what were they?
We don't know. I don't know what the pictures are, but 2 picture frames. We couldn't show it to you. We couldn't show you the movement of the officers. And the code, okay, in custody is what we're hearing. I'm going to try to get you some more details. And I hope we can get this confirmed by somebody on the ground. But
all right.
Understand.
Well, we're going to wonder if he is in.
Do me a favor. I'll keep, just if you want to talk, fine. Keep an open line with me, and I'll break in.
Okay.
We certainly will, Bob. As we see movement there on the ground, officers walking away. It was quite still there. We saw no movement at all for the longest period of time. Everything quite still, quite peaceful. Now officers moving freely about. So apparently it has ended. And has ended peacefully with O.J. Simpson putting the gun down, walking out of that Bronco with 2 picture frames in his hand, and then being arrested by LA police officers.
All right, we are sorry for the dark picture, but there is no light has been allowed there. Part of the early negotiations were that they get the helicopters up and away and that they get the lights on, even the police cars turned off, so it's been very difficult to see. But there's an officer walking close to that police unit, and we're now wondering, has OJ been taken into his own home? Will he be taken down to Parker Center right away? Bob Tur, come back.
Great news. Unbelievable, great news. OJ Simpson just minutes ago gave himself up. He came out of the Bronco with 2 picture frames. He was under the scrutiny of the SWAT team, and they watched this unfold. He did not have the weapon in his hand, and he was taken into custody, and we understand now that they're breaking down the command post, and that hopefully some of our ground units will be able to move in and get some video on the ground. But it's very dramatic, incredible. Now, the things I couldn't tell you on the air was that there was a diversionary system also being put into motion where they would use stun grenades, flashbang grenades, and stun OJ and then break out the windows and take him into custody. That wasn't necessary. It is very dangerous. It's only used as a last resort, but they were setting up for that possibility. They also were using the mother and a sister to attempt to negotiate. I don't know how well that worked. Al Cowlings also played an important, pivotal role in this successful situation. We know that he came out. I don't know whose pictures they were. Marika's we're gonna go to a picture inside Chopper 2 here. We can bring our lights on. Unbelievable. We saw an incredible situation that's gone on for hours. Incredible restraint by the Los Angeles Police Department. They got their man, they found him, and he was followed up into Los Angeles, all the way into Brentwood, where the pursuit terminated here on Rockingham. Now, we couldn't show you the pictures because we don't do that. We don't show you SWAT operations as they unfold because we don't want to endanger officers' lives. But the fortunate situation was that the officers kept their distance. They allowed the SWAT team, the pros, to come in. They took their positions while they were setting up possible diversionary situations. They allowed a peaceful, negotiated release where Mr. O.J. Simpson gave himself up. Now, it was very dramatic. He was able to come out of the Bronco with 2 pictures, 2 frames in his hands. He was not carrying the weapon, and he was taken into custody. That's the information we have. Night has fallen here over Brentwood. They did not allow us to use our 30 million candle power night sun. They themselves did not use any special lighting. They wanted the scene to be tranquil, peaceful, and not a harsh situation. It was part of their game plan, and indeed it has paid off, and hopefully we'll have some ground video to show you. but I've never seen anything like this in 17 years of covering news in this city, where we've had a whole high-profile sports legend, OJ Simpson, moving a situation so fluid. Earlier today, I was down at Parker Center. He was supposed to turn himself in, and he was supposed to be in communication, and then they said, I'll tell you what the lieutenant told us. He said, he's flown the coop, he's in the breeze, we don't know where he's at, the man is a fugitive. Well, early on, we knew that authorities were using cellular telephone to triangulate the position of Mr. Simpson. Every time you use a cellular phone, authorities with a subpoena, with the right paperwork, can get the phone company to tell, to actually convey to authorities the cell site location. So literally within a mile, they know where you're at.
Bob,
and then, yes, go ahead.
I have a question for you. Do you have any take on how long OJ will be staying at the house, or whether their plans are to get him down to Parker Center ASAP?
Well, what they're going to do is they want to get him examined as soon as possible. They don't know how much, if he is on medication, they don't know how much. There's always the possibility of an overdose. So he will be taken, he's been taken into custody. He'll be rapidly transported to a jail facility or to a hospital where he could be examined by a physician, and then when he gets a clean bill of health, he can be moved to a lockdown detention facility such as Parker Center or the county jail, and he'll be placed on suicide watch. At this point, however, the goal is to make sure that he gets medical attention, and they examine him and make sure that he is not under the negative effects of any drug, and that is always a possibility in these set of circumstances. We believe this because earlier when he was on the cellular phone, officers said he sounded like he was intoxicated or under the influence of drugs. And indeed, we know Mr. Shapiro, OJ's attorney, said that he was under a doctor's care for very deep depression. They usually require they'll bring a paramedic team to the scene. Those paramedic teams will actually take the vital signs of the patient. They'll check the eyes. They'll check the consciousness of the patient, any arrhythmias. They'll do all that sort of stuff that could be done in the field, and they are very well equipped for that. And if they give the clean bill of health, then he can be moved to a detention area. If it's out of their hands, he can be transported by rescue ambulance to UCLA Medical Center, which is just down the road, about 7 minutes away, where more definitive care can be brought. Now, and I'm not saying this has happened, but if an overdose has taken place, or it is suspected, he can be taken over to UCLA Medical Center, and they do something called a gastric lavage, where they place a tube into the stomach, and they actually wash any fluids out if they believe that to be the case, and they might do that as a precaution. He is in custody, and he is actually a ward of the courts, and they could, without his consent, give him any required medical care that's necessary. Now, in these circumstances through the years, they'll do that initially with a rescue ambulance, and then if it is indicated, then they'll bring him on down to a medical center for definitive medical care. However, if he's given a clean bill of health, he could be taken to Parker Center, where there is a physician, by the way, that does watch over inmates in the jail detention facility there at Parker Center, as well as a physician that is there actually inside the LA County Jail as well. So where he goes at this point, it's anyone's guess. However, it's my experience he'll probably go to Parker Center, be booked into Parker Center, examined there, and then be brought in for arraignment tomorrow. And there, after the arraignment, will be transported to the Los Angeles County Jail, where he'll be placed under suicide watch. Very common in these types of cases where we see someone that, someone that has exhibited all the classic signs of wanting to commit suicide. And I think we have no better example than a great sports legend falling from grace. And it's just tragic.
ban gay marriage?
The president strongly believes that marriage in this country ought to be between a man and a woman. He also believes that it's something that ought to be decided by the people. He doesn't believe that judges ought to impose